Hello, my name is Kevin and welcome to the Love Decanters channel. So today I'm going to talk about I'm going to show you early decanter stoppers, and I'm going to be using this lovely book as my reference because it has one page with them all on. Well, it doesn't have them all, but it has quite a lot on one page, and what I will do is I'll try and follow what's on this page against some decanter stoppers. I do have a lot of spare decanter stoppers. I've been collecting for over 30 years or collecting decanters for over 30 years, but whenever I see a basket of stoppers or someone selling a whole bunch of them on eBay and they're going really cheap, I just buy them, and I've always got my eye out for the older ones. So if there's like a basket of them, I'll have a waffle through them and pick out if there's any good ones. Generally, well, more recently I would say, in fact when I say more recently, like the last 15 years, you don't really find much in those baskets. It used to be you'd find some real gems, but not so much. And yeah, I have thousands of stoppers, and it's because I'm not a dealer, I'm a collector, and I might use the odd one, but generally I've got them there just in case, because you know I'm an obsessional person. And yeah, so we will have a look at this this book, and I'll show you what the page that we're going to go through, and then we'll pop down the shed, grab a bunch of stoppers and come back here and I'll show you them. Okay, so let's get on with it. So here we are. This is the page that we're looking at, and they're in a rough chronological order. The reason they don't, fashions don't go in and out, they fade in and out, and so there's overlap between them. Some of them are in here for quite long. So like this one here, the Bullseye was used from 1780 to 1840 on here. This mushroom here though, with the ball on it, it says 1790 to 1820, so that actually fits within the time period of this one. These were getting very rare later on though, so yeah, it's all a bit 1840s are really late for seeing. Even the 1830s or 20s is late for seeing one of these, but they were still in use. So yeah, they were quite fading by then. So it's kind of like not a straightforward thing where you're going, yeah, they were hard in use, start, stop, end, etc. Lots of manufacturers are making them, copying each other, and also because there's lots of manufacturers, there's lots of little variations that I'm going to try and show you some of those variations as we work our way through this. And what I might do is, I was thinking I'll put this book on the table and actually just pull up the decanters next to it, kind of like that, and we can do a comparison like that. I think I might do that. I think that might work. So anyway, let's have a shoot down the shed. So here we are in my shed, and yeah, so this is my spare stopper collection. Yeah, got some early ones in here. Yeah, got some lozenges and things there. I've got a few more in there. Yeah, you get the idea. Keep the mushrooms down here because these drawers are a bit bigger. And yeah, I have more over here. These are like odd ones in here. And a few more. Anyway, you get the idea. This is, yeah, I've got glass in here too. But yeah, this is a proper shed with proper sheddy stuff in it. Yeah, so now you know. I have an embarrassing amount of stoppers, and yeah, but I'm not giving up. They're mine. They're all mine. Anyway, let's get on and have a look at some stoppers. So here we go. We're going to start with this one, 1710 to 1713. It's called a pyramid. I only have one. You can see, and it's in a shocking state. Look at that. But I knew it was very early, so I bought it. But if I hold it the good way round, you can see the reason it's actually kind of got four sides that are slightly bigger, and these ones slightly narrower. I think most of them are even more so. But yeah, it's got this upright piece here, and then a pyramid bit at the top. No neck as such. It's just the head just plonks straight onto the shoulders, and it's yeah, it's rough fitted. You got a little bit of a natural glass. If I can get it to focus on that bit there. Will it focus? Yeah, there we go. Got a bit of the natural glass there. There's a bubble, I think, in the middle. You can hardly see it there. Can you see it down inside? So yeah, that's a pyramid. Yeah, it's about 300 years old, that one. So the next one we're looking at is the tiered ball, which is 1725 to 1740. And you can see this is not cut at all. It's got this little tapered shape here, but it's just designed to sit in the bottle like that. You can see it's got a little teardrop in the end, and it matches this one in the book quite well. Put my hand down here. Yeah, so yeah, so easy to be chucked away as a piece of rubbish. We'll go on and we'll do this one next, which is the what's it called? Multi-tiered ball, 1735 to 45. And again, it's made to just sit in the bottle. See, multi tiers in it, and yeah, again, such a simple thing. Could easily be chucked away. No cutting, just broken. Lots of little tiny chips around the base. But yeah, very rare thing. One day I'll find a decanter for one of these, but yeah, haven't yet. So yeah, these have been hanging around for a very long time. So that's that one. Couldn't find any tiered faceted stems. I know I have faceted balls. I know I have some, but yeah, this is as close as I could get to what they look like in the book. It doesn't. It's just the top. It looks like it's faceted, and yeah, and this is an early one. You can see the way this is. The end is kind of got quite a lot of raw fitting, and yeah, so I think this might be an 18th century one. Just the colour of it, it's got lovely, can you see when you look down it, grey colour. So yeah, I know I've got one somewhere, but yeah, well, you saw how many I've got. I think yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so this is roughly what it's like, what the faceting would be like, but no tiers in it. Next one we're looking at is Gothic tier. No, Gothic spire, I should say, or steeple it's called. You can see, again, it's rough fitted. You can see the wear where it was originally in the bottle. A little bit of natural on the edge where they haven't just straighten the edges off. There's a reason for doing that, because if you if you just polish that down till it hits there, you end up with a sharp edge and it makes it chip more easily. So leaving it a little bit rounded gives it a bit of longevity. And yeah, there are some little chips, but they're really on the edge of the broken bit. That was, you see, little tiny chips there. But anyway, yeah, and it also usually the ends are a little bit AF, because you have to remember this is 1845 to 65, so if it's not AF by now, there's probably something afoot. So the next one I'm going to show you is this one here, which is a flat faceted or clipped disc, 1755 to 65. And this is one here. You can see got the same kind of not quite finished rough, but you can see how there's usually this bit here, quite often there's a bit of dirt in there, you'll see that. Don't know why, it seems to be a spot for it collecting and not being able to wash out. But anyway, so that's what that's like. And also I have a variation on it. In fact, I have a couple of variations here I'm going to show you. I've got this one, which is kind of not faceted just in the lower part, but only around the top, and it kind of like a little funny head with hair and ears or something. And you should expect there to be lots of little chips on these, and there should be. Otherwise, yeah, it's not over 200 years old probably. And you can see again, you got that roughed peg with a round piece here, and roughed off end. Yeah. So, and then I do have another one which is a variation on it, where they've actually, it doesn't have a completely flat face. It's got little dents cut in the face. So yeah, it is like a clipped disc around the edge, but then the middle, it's got these little facets cut into it. Shallow they are, very shallow. You get the idea, front and back, so it's not just one-sided. So that's why you get it kind of like, can you see? It doubles up, you can see it right through. So yeah, so that's a variation on the faceted or clipped disc. So the next one we're looking at is the scalloped disc. Some people call these lunar cut discs, and it's 1765 to 80 this style. And yeah, let me show you one. So I've got a couple that are a bit different to each other. So this one, you can see it's not just a straightforward disc, it's been cut into. It's a bit like a scalloped, a scroll bordered one, but it's not. I don't think it is. I don't have a scroll bordered one, but yeah, it's actually a disc where they've done your lunar cuts into it, and then they've cut little semicircles out of it. This one is more of a disc, and then you can see the pegs are just the same. The style, the way of doing the pegs hasn't really changed. And yeah, and the depth of these cuts can vary. And then what I have here, which is another variation, is yeah, so this one's not a disc, it's a lozenge, but is scalloped or lunar cut. Yeah, so that's unusual variation. What I'm going to show you is the faceted disc with diagonal hollow flutes on opposing sides, resemble hollow diamond cutting. So yeah, so you can see, if you look at this, it's cut that way, not cut that way, it's just, can I show you, can you see the edge there? But then it's actually cut diagonally the other way on the other side, so it looks like diamonds. And then you've got this one here. I've got another one that's a bit loose, more loosely cut, without cutting it around the edges. So this one is a proper disc. So and those ones are dated 1770 to 80. Another one from this page. It's the heart-shaped disc, 1770 to 85. Yeah, you can see it's literally just a heart shape with a, but the thing to watch out for is the peg, remember. See how that is. Keeps losing focus. focus you. There you go. Thought I'd show you a couple of weird ones that I've got on the table. First I'll show you this one. Yeah, so I think this one is earlier. It's kind of, it's not cut at all, it's just flattened. It's not even like a proper disc. It's not a lozenge either. Somewhere between them, pear-shaped maybe. But anyway, what's interesting on this one, what makes me think it's earlier, is the shape of the peg. It's roughed, but it's like it's designed just to sit in. It's a bit like this early one here. You can see it's a similar kind of shape. Yeah. So it's not really made to be fit tight. It's made to sit, even though it's got a rough edge. I don't know why they would do that and then make it in a shape that's designed to sit in. But anyway, that's that one. And then I've got this other one here. This is a really unusual one. You do see these ones in the book sometimes. Yeah, I think this is probably from the same period as the heart-shaped one. So you're talking 1770 to 85. There were a few other unusual shapes at that time. I've only got this one. It's slightly off colour as well. But you can see the peg is still made in the same old-fashioned way. And yeah, it's not perfect when you run your fingers around it. But yeah, so we'll be moving on to the next phase of these now. So we're going to look at the lozenge here, which is 1770 to 1820 here. I'm afraid, yeah, these are all lozenges. So I'll show you the one that's probably closest to the one that we were looking at in the last lot, which is one which is, again, it's got a bit of lunar cutting and the diagonal cutting on it, but it is a lozenge, and you can see. So this is probably closer to the beginning of the period for these, because if you can see this style here is 1770 to 1780, yeah, where it's got this cross cutting like this, but it overlaps with these 1770 to 1820. So this is probably in this time period, because although it's a lozenge had started then, but then this style with this kind of cutting, but it's actually not particularly well done, not as well done as the others we're looking at. I'll show you the basic one. So this is your basic lozenge. Yeah, and you can see it's the peg's still not changed, a slightly rounded edge. I'm not saying all of them are going to have that, but it's general rule that they have a slightly rounded edge that's the natural glass. But that's your lozenge. That's your standard. Yeah, and then I've got a split one. See the line down the middle, and again the stopper with a slight little bit of natural around the edge. But yeah, split ones. A lot of these were reproduced. Then you've got this one. This one's a bit of a, yeah, I just grabbed this one. Sorry, I should have picked a nicer one. With little indents, but it's still a lozenge. And again, you can see the stopper with a little bit of natural on the edge. And then, what will I go with next? We'll go with this one, which is, yeah, so this one is closer to this one here, again, or even it's a bit like a clipped edge one, which is even earlier, but it's going forward into, and this is what I mean about things are not hard and fast. This one has virtually no rounded edge on it. I can just about feel it in some of it here. Yeah, can you see a little bit of the natural glass there? So they've actually taken this one, flattened this one a bit more than usual, but you can see a lot of wear in the middle of the stopper, where in the middle of the peg where it's sat in the bottle. Yeah, I'm happy this is, and it's got a few nicks in the bottom as well that makes you more comfortable. I'm going to show you this one now. So this goes with Bristol blue. Oh, actually this is a green one, which is just a dark green. But you can see it's and these are usually 1800 plus, and they would go with hang on, let me check out decanter, like a decanter like that, or there's a green one like that. Yeah, so yeah, but you can see the stopper, if you can see, let me put it against there, you can see it's still got that rough fitting, rough base, natural on the edge there. So one more. Oh, one more. So yeah, so this one's unpolished. So this is how it's been pressed out. It's actually showing you how it's made, but you do occasionally find these where they're not properly finished. And yeah, so in actual fact, when you're looking at that, you might think, oh, lots of cutting, but in actual fact, all they've done is just polish the surface. They've made it in a little pinch press mold to make that shape, and then polished it flat. So no real cutting, in fact. So next I'm going to show you this one, the target or bullseye. Okay, and I'll do that one as well, the pinched waffle at the same time. But first I'm going to show you a variation which is somewhere between a lozenge and a target or bullseye. So it's like so it's kind of lozenge shape, but then they've put a bullseye on it. And this one's not been polished either. So yeah, unusual. And then I've got a couple of these just to show you some variation in them. Yeah, this one's got quite a thick edge. I think this one got a thick edge, yeah. Some of them have quite thin edges. Oh yeah, this is another, what I've done here is, this is a polished one. And this is an unpolished one. And that shows you, again, this is not really cut, it's just polished because this is how it started out. Yeah. Let me try and grab, is there one here? I'm trying to see if there's here with a thin edge. No, I can't immediately grab it, doesn't matter. And this is a waffle, which is just literally a disc that's pinched between a waffle shaped tweezer. In fact, actually it's that way, that side, that way, that side. This is an Irish one. Yeah, these are Irish stoppers, and these are quite, yeah, I'm looking for these, okay? If anybody's got any, I'll have them, because, yeah, I collect Irish glass, always on the lookout for these. I do have a couple of decanters in need. So, yeah, these are quite nice. And I'll give you the dates. So the Bullseye's 1780 to 1840, and then these pinched waffle disc 1785 to 1820. So yeah, but they're Irish, these ones. You don't get these in the UK, or in England I should say. So next we're going to look at pinched target, which is 1785 to 1840, and then radio fluted target, which is 1795 to 1820. So let's go with the pinched targets first. I've got two here. This one, and you can see it's been ground to fit. So I would say this is Anglo-Irish. Yep. And then this one, which has not been ground to fit, it's made just to sit in it. And yeah, this is an Irish one. Yeah, if you look, actually the one he's got here has got no fitting on it. It's an Irish one. Even the little bluebeard's got a bottom, it's got that there. So yeah, I'm looking for these as well. So Yeah, very difficult to find. And then he's got these radio fluted, which were made for a shorter length of time because it's like 10 years later, and then 20 finishes 20 years earlier. And I've got a few here to show you because they kind of come as different levels. Let's show you the worst one first. So yeah, it is just like a target, but all they've done is they've just cut out some little ridges, but only on one side because they're cheap, obviously. Look at that. Gives you the look without the effort. And then I've got this one where you can tell it's a pressed one, but they have polished it afterwards, so it feels cut. And they polished the centre out. It's got a little chip there actually. But yeah, it is. See how sharp that is, and it feels sharp around the edges as well, but not fantastically polished. And then at the other, and look at the stem, that's just natural glass there, yeah, and it's hardly fitted as well. Look, let me show you something. Look, if I do this one, hear that, and then this one, you can hear the difference. So that's got sharp edges where it's been cut. This is just, and this one as well. Can't get it to make that same clicky noise. Then I've got this one, which is the super deluxe one, where the stem has been polished. This has been polished in. Everything's centre super polished. The edges are polished as well. So this may have originally started out like that, but they've gone to town with it and sharpened it up all over. So next one he's got is the radial cut mushroom variants. He's saying 1790 to 1820. I'm not happy with this diagram because he's shown it with the ball knop in it, and that is slightly less common than the ones without the ball knop on, and I would have gone for the most common version. So I'm going to show you some of the variations with the ball knop on. This is your kind of standard, see, with the radial cutting on the mushroom, your ball knop, rough fitted. Then I've got one here, stay. But this one is actually polished fitted. Now, polished fitting started to come in. You can see it's a bit rough around the edges at the bottom. If I can get it to focus. Focus there. Go on, do it for me. Anyway, it is slightly, although it's polished, it's slightly rounded at the end, and then it's got quite a lot of chips in it. Yeah, and when you can see, look, it's even got a chip in the top here. Little chip there. This is normal, so don't worry if you see little tiny chips on these. They're not going to be perfect. These are 200 years old. Yeah. So although it is polished, this was starting to come in the Regency period. Then there's one here where the knob is faceted. It also isn't quite as mushroomy as the other one. Yeah, you can see. At this time they were starting to leave less natural, and they were starting to get chips at the base. It's just what happens. And then, yeah, this one's uncut. What is it? I mean, it's rough fitted. Again, you've got a little bit of natural here. Got a few chips off the base, but look at that. That's really unusual. But I just thought I'd show you. And then you've got one the other extreme, where it's just completely plain, no radial cutting at all, and yeah, with the ball knob. So yeah, not all mushrooms are cut. These are rarer, and they might go with English moulded decanter as well, which are quite rare. Yeah, these are good ones to get if you see them. So I'm going to show you some of the standard mushrooms without the ball knot. So this is what they're like without the ball knot. Earlier ones tend to be hollow inside, and then they tend to become fatter underneath. Yeah, so that's a little rule of thumb. You can see it's got a rough done, although they haven't left any natural in the end. And if I put this one down, I'll show you another variation. So yeah, not all of them are fully radially cut. You'll see lots of different patterns. I could pull out a dozen off my shelf behind me and show you loads of different patterns. Again, this one's an early one because it does have the umbrella. You see my thumb goes into it. And then you've got this one here, which is a later one, which is more, even though it's rough cut and got lots of natural here, look at the cutting on it. And also it's less hollow. Can you see you can see all of my thumb underneath. It's got cutting underneath it as well. And then I've got this one, which is an odd one out again. You won't see many of those to the pound. Nice early moulded one. So moving on to the next one here, 1805 we're up to now, okay, and these are pineapple or diamond cut ball, okay, so this is your, and you can see again this one's still got a little bit of natural just there, yeah, but look at all that wear on the bottom edge there, and they always have a little, you can just barely make it out on the picture here. But yeah, I'm showing you, that's what I'm doing in the film so you can see exactly how it is. And here's another one, slightly different. Yeah, with a little, this one's been polish fit, so that one's rough fit, this one's polish fitted. But yeah, look at the, can you see the state of the edge where it's always, where it's been put into the decanter over and over and over and over and over. And yeah. About there, that's what you expect to see. It's not a reproduction. And then this one here, which is a tiny one, which is off a spirit bottle. You can see it's still got the same little radial cut top, but little pineapple body. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is hollow mushroom, 1830 to 45. I'm going to show you this one first, which is probably the earlier one, which has what's known as a cartwheel cut top, and so the decanter that would go with that would have a cartwheel cut base as well. So instead of having a star, it would have this cartwheel spokes cut on it, and yeah. And also at this time a lot of the decanters are starting to get polished pegs. In fact, all of these ones I'm showing you have got polished pegs. These are from a smaller decanter, so they're actually not bad nick. This one is similar. You can see it's hollow. Can you see the air bubble in the middle? Yeah, and they usually have a little, a lot of them have a little like they're sitting on a pad. So the bubble is sitting on a little pad with a mushroom on top of it. And then I've got one which is closer to the one in the picture here. You see with the faceted sides. And then it's got a radial cut top. Yeah, this one's in good nick actually. Unusually. Probably the decanter that died, it's quite heavy actually, so it probably died quite early in its career. Whereas this one, yeah, this one's had heavy usage. You can see with the nicely cut with a radial cut top, so that is closer to this one here. We're coming to the end now. That's the good news. Next, I'm going to show you this. It says hexagonal cuts, but it's actually an octagon, and the one I have it's 1830 to 50. Yeah, mine's an octagon as well. Can you see? Just like this one here. It's got the odd little nick on the corner there, and it's got one on the base. Then again, this is nearly 200 years old, so don't expect perfection. Yeah, so these ones go with the better quality things like the Nelson type and the Royal type decanters that you'll see me talk about when I'm out and about. I'll see them from time to time, but the better quality ones with faceted sides. So yeah, that's the kind of decanter these go with. The last one he's got on here is actually not really early. It says faceted ball, 18th century, the most popular Victorian form. Yeah, that's not this. Yeah, so this is a Victorian one, faceted ball. This is a bit like a faceted ball, but I think this is from a bludgeon decanter, but I just thought I'd drag it out because it has a sort of 18th century look about it. But you can see, look at the peg, nice, too polished and clean. If you look at all those 18th century ones, you know this is not that, even though this is a bit off colour, it's got a tear in it. You know, if you look at this one, where was it, the faceted teardrop ball, yeah, it's not that, you know, because the peg is wrong. So I think I'm going to wrap up with that because I'm getting tired and you're probably getting fed up. So you're probably in need of psychiatric help after that. If you stuck with it, you must love decanters, that's all I can say, because yeah, and I could have done another hour. Yeah, there's so many variations. I could have easily done another hour. But I think, I'm hoping, if you look at a bunch of stoppers, you can now know how, oh, this one's 200 years old, I think. I'll take that one, you know, if they're all £2-3 pounds each. Because some of those, let me think, let me stop a second. So yeah, so something like this, an Irish waffle one, to me, I'm a collector of Irish glass. I'm looking at these because these are not very well fitted, they just plonk in. Yeah, so if I can find a decanter that needs one of these, yeah, I'm quite desperate for it. And yeah, I'll pay for it. So yeah, if you've got one, let me know. Anyway, yeah, so some of those, like the Bullseyes and some of the mushrooms, they're worth, you know, somewhere between 10 and 30 pounds, depending on how good they are, how big the peg is. Yeah, because obviously if you're going to get it fitted, if you're going to get paid to get it fitted, it needs to be bigger than the decanter you're putting it into to get it trimmed down to size. So big pegs, always helpful. So yeah, there's all sorts of little subtleties like that you've got to think about if you're interested in sort of like picking them up. But if you see them for cheap, rescue them. Yeah, because they're going to end up in the scrap. Because people think, you know, that looks like a cheap piece of tat, doesn't it? I mean, there's no cutting. Look at this broken bit at the bottom. Yeah. So, yeah, rescue them if you see them, and if you have to, let me know about it. Anyway, with that said, I will put the reference I used in the description below. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stuck to the end. Yeah, I know a lot of people probably died of boredom on the way, but anyway, thank you for watching and have a good evening. Bye.